Okay, so I have been growing my hair out from a buzz cut for the past 3 years, and I wanted to make this video to share some of the knowledge that I've learned from the process. I'm going to share the two different methods that you can use to grow out your short hair. I want to show some photos of my hair growth process, and then finally share a few tips that helped my hair grow faster and kept me from losing my mind during the in-between lengths. Whenever you decide that it's time to grow out your hair, you can either do the mullet method or the haircut method. The mullet method is really just you not getting any haircuts for the majority of the growth process, and your hair is naturally going to grow into a mullet. If you think about it, if you're trying to grow your hair to your chin, the bottom layers of your hair have a lot shorter distance to travel versus the top layers of your hair that have to go a lot longer distance to reach your chin. The under layers are going to look and be longer than the top layers while you're growing your hair out. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you've always wanted to have a mullet. This would be a great time to experiment with that. But that was not my truth to have a mullet. I've never wanted one. So I decided to go the haircut route. I know it seems really counterintuitive to be getting haircuts when you're trying to grow your hair out, but you're not cutting all of your hair. You're cutting certain parts of your hair and shaping it in a certain way so that it grows out smoothly into a bob. This is not something that you want to try to do with just any hairstylist. You really want to go to somebody who is knowledgeable in hair cutting, who understands how to shape the hair. Not to mention, they're going to know how to give you more attractive haircuts while you're growing your hair out, which I think is important because you want to look the way that you want to look during this grow out process. So now I want to talk through some pictures from my hair growth process and show you about how long it took to grow my hair to shoulder length. So this first photo is actually before I got any haircuts. My hair cutter suggested that I grow my hair out to the point that it was shaggy over my ears. And this was about 3 months of hair growth for me to reach that point. You can tell that it's shaggy in these photos because I have the little sideburns and also I'm tucking the rest of the hair behind my ears. This photo is about 6 months of hair growth. I could not find a photo of my first haircut, but it was a similar shape to this one. As you can see, my hairstylist was still growing my sideburns out, and I am growing my bangs, but she would trim those just a tiny bit to give them some shape and some texture, but she didn't cut any length off because obviously I'm trying to grow them out. Also, this is my parents' dog, Rosebud. She will be making an appearance in several of these photos. She is very cute and very anxious, which is relatable. This photo is about 8 months of hair growth. I think that this photo really shows the shape of the haircut that we were doing the entire time. If you think about the shape of a angled bob, that is really what she's accomplishing, but in a pixie form. You can really see it along the bottom of my hairline. And I honestly really liked this haircut. I liked this length because my curls were finally coming out. So that was exciting after being bald for 2 years. I was like, oh yeah, I have curls. But you can also tell in this photo that my bangs are getting longer. The layers on the top of my head are getting longer, and also my sideburns are almost at my chin. These two photos are about 10 months of hair growth. My bangs were definitely still choppy, but on the sides, it was really growing in. I was still gelling it sometimes because it was kind of an annoying length, unfortunately, but we were making it work. I wanted to include this photo of the back so that you could see how my hair cutter was cutting it. She is keeping the back really cleaned up and stacked while the top layers are growing out. So it's kind of that pixie bob state right here. These two photos are 1 year and 1 month worth of hair growth. I was really excited at this point because I could finally tuck my hair behind my ears, and it's really starting to look like a bob here. My hair cutter is definitely still keeping the back really cleaned up, but the top layer is almost covering the nape of my neck, so that's a pretty big deal, and it's almost to the point that it is a true bob. Okay, so this next photo is a year and a half of hair growth, and as you can see, it's like officially a bob at this point. It's past my chin, and I'm able to use a curling iron, and it looks like a bob. So I would say a year and a half of hair growth was when I officially felt like it was no longer a pixie cut. This photo is a year and 9 months of hair growth, and at that point, it is almost to my shoulders when I straighten it, so that was a really exciting point for me as well. This photo is almost a year and 11 months. It was like about 2 months after the last photo that I showed, and my hair is officially at my shoulders. It's curled in this photo, so it is a little bit shorter, but you can tell it is brushing my shoulders. I would also say that this was about the point where I stopped getting such regular haircuts. Up until this point, I was getting haircuts about every 4 to 6 weeks. And then once it reached my shoulders, I was letting it grow and getting it cut every 4 to 6 months. And that has been my frequency since then. I will say, though, that was my choice of frequency to go to 4 to 6 months. Not everybody will need to go that frequently. That is just based off of how much heat I put on my hair. And also, I want to be able to wear my hair curly. So I do like to get it shaped so that the curls look really good. But if you don't put any heat on your hair or you're not really concerned about the shaping, you just wanted to let it grow, you could go 8 months, a year in between haircuts once you reach the point where you feel like you're satisfied with the length and it just growing out itself. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but I wanted to show this last photo because this is exactly 2 years since I had started growing my hair out. It is at this point to my collarbone, so that is about how much growth I had in a 2 year period with getting regular haircuts. So to round out the video, I wanted to share 4 tips that really helped me to grow my hair as fast as possible and also just keep at it when I didn't want to. You know, some of the in between links can be annoying, and I did not feel my best at certain links, and that's just the reality of the growth process, but you have to push through because eventually you make it to the point where your hair is halfway down your back and still growing. My first tip is to do anything possible to protect your hair while it grows. I personally always use heat protectant when I was using heat on my hair. I slept in a bonnet every single night. I still do, but that's when I officially started doing that because I didn't want to have any breakage while my hair was trying to grow. And I also did not bleach or color my hair during that time at all. I have seen some people who have shared videos of them growing out a pixie cut or a buzz cut and they bleach their hair during that time. And it looks cute, but I just think that it slows the process down because your hair is more prone to breakage. So I just left my hair natural to make it as healthy as possible and so that it would grow as fast as it could. My second tip is to make sure that you're taking care of your scalp because if we think about it, your scalp is to your hair as soil is to flowers. If your scalp is not healthy, your hair is not going to be growing as fast as it can. It's not going to be as healthy as it can be. Not using products that are going to cause buildup on your scalp and make it itchy. Buildup was especially a concern for me because I have a very oily scalp and I have thin hair. So I didn't use dry shampoo. I didn't use a lot of products on my hair other than just washing it and using the heat protectant. That way, there wasn't a lot of buildup and my hair had room to breathe and grow as fast as it normally does. My third tip is to try to enjoy every single stage of your hair growth because there are certain styles that you can only do with that length of hair. You notice in some of the pictures, I have clips in my hair, I have my hair gelled, headbands, bobby pins. Any of those things are really inexpensive ways to play with different hair lengths, to deal with uneven growth, and to just enjoy the process. This tip really helped me because, like I said, I did not love every single length of hair on myself. And there were times that I did get frustrated, but I was able to, infuse creativity, try new styles, use the tools at my disposal to really have a better time, to find the enjoyment in these stages that maybe were not inherently enjoyable, and remembering that they were just temporary and that there was something unique that I could do with my hair that I'm not going to be able to do again unless I cut my hair off. My fourth tip is to document the process to keep yourself motivated because definitely in the in-between links, you can kind of lose motivation and be like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. Should I just shave my head again? But it's really good to look back and see how far you've come and how much progress you've made in your hair growth. I personally already had short hair for a really long time. I had a pixie cut for probably 3 years before I shaved my head, and then I had my head shaved for 2 years. So I was very used to seeing myself with short hair. So that wasn't as bad as if you're somebody who had long hair and you shaved it all off. But this can be really helpful to see the progress and see that your hair is growing even when it feels like it's not, and seeing that you are going to get out of that awkward in between length that is causing you so much grief. If you have other tips for growing out your hair that I didn't include in this video, feel free to drop them down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.